Hey guys, Parfax here, and today I'm bringing you an important update that came to the PTR today. It's only been about 20 minutes since this went live. I tested a few things on the PTR. We were super excited to test a few things out, but I wanted to bring them to you. So first, we have the Fury, the Spring, and we're not going to go too in depth on that. I'll probably go out and maybe go look for it and see if we can, talk a little bit about that. But this video is going to be more on the combat changes because we have some big ones. So first off, we have the Fire Staff and the Flare passive. It said added a trade-off to the Flare upgrade. When upgrading the AoE, the projectile speed will now travel 25% slower and fix an issue where the Flare upgrade allowed heavy attacks to backstab. So if you don't know what this is a pretty new, cool passive down here. Those heavy attacks now trigger a 1 meter splash on impact, but travel 25% slower. Depending on the build that you're going to do, especially maybe AoE clumping inside wars, this is going to be a very big passive. So it's going to travel a little bit slower, but still going to give you that AoE burst damage you're going to get from those heavy attacks. And it's actually a pretty cool ability. I'm glad they added it, but it probably needed a little bit of a nerf. Now the range out of it's very tiny, and you still have to almost hit it like a fireball, and it almost has to be touching them, but nice little thing there. And it's a little bit of a change. So a little bit of a nerf to Flare. Next, we have an interesting little Flamethrower thing. This is going to be a slight nerf to Flamethrower and a big nerf in some aspects. So let's go ahead and talk about it. So reduced how frequent the Flamethrower can hit and increase the damage accordingly. This was to fix an issue where the Flamethrower was making the dots tick twice as fast, greatly increasing damage. So Flamethrower was changed from 50% weapon damage every half second to 100% weapon damage every second. And then updated the accelerating Flamethrower perk to be more clear on activation, and reduces the amount of stacks of smolder that need to be on the target to trigger the effect from 3 to 2. This is just a little bit of quality of life, considering now the Flamethrower is going to hit half as fast. This is just going to mean you're going to get a little bit less uptime on Flamethrower, but Flamethrower is still going to be one of your best sources of damage, and it's going to be pretty good, and still something you're going to want to use on every build that you're using it before, but it's a hair bit of a nerf. Then they have a fix to heat up. Now, next is a pretty massive change, and we're going to demonstrate it here on the PTR in just a second when we get done with all these changes. But we have Defy Death, changed health gain from 50% max HP to 50% of base HP. Health value before it's modified from con. So this means if you have no points of Constitution, your health is right around 6,000, and this is going to adjust to that. This is way, if you're running, every build runs at least 100 con. In PvE, this isn't going to be a massive nerf. This is going to be about the same thing as what you were going to have normally. Now, next patch, you might run more cons, so this could be a nerf there, but this is a big change for PvP. It was a little bit broken. Defy Death actually was better post-patch than it was for this for almost every build out there, and this is a significant nerf to those builds. We'll show it to you here in a second. Then we have the Blunderbuss change. We saw on the forums we were getting one, and here it is. So Azot's Shrapnel Blast reduced stamina damage dealt by each pellet by 50% for the stamina damage. That is a nerf we saw coming, and I think that's fine. And then here is the one that we were waiting for. Increase how much the Azot's Shrapnel Blast damage is reduced per consecutive pellet from 15% to 20%. What they're doing here is it is in the cases that you hit every Shrapnel Blast pellet, they don't want you to be able to one-shot people. Now, this is an odd change, and at base, it doesn't seem like it's a lot, but at 2 pellets, this is a 5% loss. At 3 pellets, you lose another 5%. 4 pellets, you lose another 9% or 5%. We'll see. This is an interesting change. I think Blunderbuss is going to be just fine next patch. It's going to be pretty similar to what it is right now. It's going to be a little bit squishier because they changed some of its passives to be Fortify versus doing just a regular damage reduction, and that's big next patch. It's not that big right now, but it's a big change. Then they added Claw Shot. They adjusted the cancel windows on Claw Shot to reduce burst damage potential when used in combos. There was a couple combos out there you could just one-shot people with Claw Shot, and they don't really want that, and it really didn't have much, counterplay. So then we have a Rapier. We saw this as well in the forum. It says Flourish added the stagger back to Flourish and reduced the damage of Flourish from 90% to 60%, a 30% damage decrease. And then Flurry fixed an issue where the bleed applies by rapiers would not trigger screen shake. Who cares? We have an interesting change. We have Musket. Reduced Musket's camera rotation accuracy penalty by 20%. If you didn't know, Musket, when you moved your camera left to right, it would give you the accuracy penalty, and now they're reducing it by 20%. which is interesting. So then we have a couple nerfs here to the spear. And then Fortifying Perforate, reduce Fortify per stack from being 9.6 on armor and 17% on weapon to 5.8% on armor and 10% on weapons at 30% max. This is actually a pretty massive nerf because if you most people had it on their armor anyway, and it gave you essentially 30% Fortify, and now it's only going to give you what, about 16 to 17%, about 17% Fortify, and Fortify significantly nerfed. So that is a massive nerf to Fortifying Perforate. And then we have the Mortal Empowerment added back to the ability to the duration to refresh on each kill. So we'll go over the previous nerfs to Mortal Empowerment. So it went from 15 stacks to 10. Then it went from 20 minutes to 2. And then it said it couldn't refresh the duration. They added that back, but now it's still 10 stacks and it is 2 minutes duration. So this is still I think this is kind of in the middle ground for Mortal Empowerment. Some people that are absolutely cracked out, they're going to have moments where they're going to get to 5, 6, 8 stacks, maybe even 10 stacks. And then if the fight, slows down even just a little bit, and then they lose all their stacks. So I think this is a fine change. And this brings Mortal Empowerment kind of in the very fringe play, but it's not completely busted like it is now. In OPR, this is going to be, something that's going to be a big hit to a lot of builds. And even in war, this is going to be a nice big hit. Now, you might think to yourself, well, if someone's getting 35 kills in a war, this is easy. They're averaging a kill a minute. Yeah, they're averaging a kill a minute, which is fine. But you probably could go back and look at their VODs, and there's probably a period of time where there's 2 minutes where they don't get a kill. So if that happens, they lose all their stacks. So really good. And then we have elemental attunements, reducing the damage from 18% to 14%. So if you bought your attunement weapons, you got a little bit of nerf. Attunement's still going to be BIS on most abilities, so going to be pretty interesting change here. A little bit of nerf to attunement, but it's still not bad by any means. This just means if you're going for like Great Axe, change just got even more of a buff. Other than that, we just had some random changes, some audio fixes, leaderboards, UIs, some quality of life stuff. So we will test this right now. We're going to go to the PTR. Let's go ahead and get over here. And we have out our hatchet, and I'm going to show you what Defy Death looks like right now. So we're just here in Great Cleave. We're going to go up to an elite mob. We will go ahead and proc our Defy Death, and you'll be able to see the difference. So we are on 13k health. So last patch, we would have gotten, 65? We did about 7,000 health at the end of Defy Death. So let's go ahead and look what we get now. So we'll let this mob, we'll actually help him out here a little bit. We'll suck our health. Try not to die before we get back. All right, we'll go to our hatchet here. Got about 2 more hits. All right. Oh, no, we got a couple more. We're getting some regen. But you're going to see here, we're going to proc it. We go to 3,500. The 3,500 is what you're going to get next patch from the hatchet on every build. I don't know if there's a way to augment your base life, but if there is, I'm sure people will find out. But I don't think there is a way to do that. I don't know. Well, actually, no, the health on the amulet doesn't count either, because I have it on right now. And I still got the base 3,500 because your health is base 6,000. So that is a significant nerf to the hatchet builds, and it's going to be an interesting change. We'll see how people like it. It's finally a nerf to Defy Death because, like I said, it was probably a buff before. So hope you guys enjoyed this video. Like, comment, subscribe. Like always, if you haven't checked out my video earlier today about the armor changes, go ahead and check that out. I'll put it in the link in the description down below. But all right, guys, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Peace.